It may be obvious, but every time you make a junk journal, you have to make some pages. G'day, I'm Donna from Australia, and today we're going to be making easy pages. Not just one, but 5. As an artist, sharing ideas to make junk journals is super important to me. It's a great idea to sprinkle easy pages throughout your journal, especially if you're a beginner. Before we start, I have a question for you. Do you neglect to put simple pages in your journals? When making pages, they don't have to be highly decorated. They can be simple and they can be blank so you can journal on them. And if you don't journal, you can come back later and glue, sew, pin, stencil, do whatever you want. Just create on them. If you've been watching my channel, you'll have noticed that I reach for these types of pages and put them in all of my journals because they just work. I've made 2 free printables to go along with these ideas, and I'm sharing 2 channels for you to go and check out. First channel, a shout out to Carol Laws for the inspiration of the pocket flip through page idea, and a shout out to Leslie at 507 Willow House Journals for the paint marking idea. There's a list in the description box below to link to the channels and my freebies. Let's get started on the first page. I'm using A4 paper size, and it doesn't matter if you use A4 or US letter size. Do exactly the same as I'm doing. To make this page, you need 2 prints the same on one side, and on the back side you can have 2 different prints. If you really wanted to, you could have them the same, but I've made my opposite side 2 different patterns. This is the one I've picked to be my page, and I'm going to fold it in half so you know it's my page. If your printer has a border around the edge, tear it off or cut it off. Now grab your second sheet and trim off the border edge as well. Now bring back your page, and using your extra top sheet from the right hand side, fold it over and make a pocket as wide as you want it to be, and then put a finger crease in the left hand side of it. And then once you've folded it over, just cut off the excess piece on the right hand side here. So this is what it'll look like when you put it back on top of your page. The image on the top piece has got to match the image on the bottom piece. And mine here, I didn't cut off the border properly. It's got a little bit of white showing on the edge. I'm just going to put my ruler over the top of the page and the pocket and just cut all the way through so I know it's matching perfectly. So when I lift up the top piece, it'll show you where the flip's going to be, and this section here is the pocket. So now when I open it up, there's my page inside. If you like using distress ink, put your colour on now before you glue your pocket down. Open up your page and lay it flat. Turn your pocket over and don't put the glue on your fold side. Put it on your cut edges and only on 3 sides. Now put corner to corner on the edge of your page. I'm turning mine upside down because it's a whole lot easier for me to see being right-handed. I'm matching my corners up, and I'm only gluing down the underside of this piece. So it'll form the pocket, and the top piece is going to be a flip out. I'm just going to use my bone folder to give a really sharp crease on that fold line. Pop whatever you want in the pocket. It can complement it. It can be pushed all the way in so it remains a hidden pocket, or you can have it peeking out the edge. This flip page does stay closed on its own, but if you want to add a little tiny paper clip, you can. These are beautiful pages to make, and I made one using Amity Bloom's papers as well. And I've just put it in with these pages here so you get an idea what it looks like with other pages. Easy page number 2. This one you get 2 for the price of 1. I'm using an A4 paper and a plain white doily. We're going to be printing on both sides. So for the first side, when you pick your doily, make sure it fits on the inside of your paper sheet. For this one, you'll need a repositionable spray glue. Off camera, I've sprayed the back of my doily very lightly. You do not need much at all. Just put it randomly on your paper page. Just pat it down gently, and you can see how well it'll hold on. And then whichever way your printer works, mine, I've got to put the doily facing down in my tray, so then when I choose my print, it will pull it through the printer and print it over the top of my doily. Now, because I've only put a small amount of glue on the back of my doily, I can peel it off, but I will suggest that you take it easy when you're peeling off your doily, because that way you can reuse your doily. Your doily's got this beautiful print on it, and you can use it as a full doily anywhere you like, or you can tear it up and use it as embellishments. But it looks beautiful. Put your sheet back in the printer and print the opposite side. Once you've printed the opposite side, you can cut or tear the border off, and you've got yourself a beautiful page, and a byproduct, you've got a printed doily. Easy page idea number 3, before and after. This idea was inspired by the bubbly Leslie from 507 Willow House Journals. And we're going to be doing paint marking. And it's a really easy paint marking on a dictionary page. You can do it on any pages, any page that will take paint. I'm going to do one using paint pencils and one using watercolor paints, and you can also use your acrylic paints. You can tear your pages out, but these papers aren't very big, so I like to get my sharp craft knife and just run it right down in the spine of the book. And that just releases the pages so you don't lose any of the width of the paper. To get ready, I'm using a dark pink paint pencil, a little bottle of spray water, and you can either use a round brush or a square tip brush. Put some water in a paint palette or just on a small plate. I'm going to start by scribbling little squares. They don't have to be filled in solid. Just do an outline. You've got to experiment with how much paint you want to put down on your paper. You can put your pencil down first. You can put your water down first. You can add the pencil on top of the water. You can scribble from left to right with heaps of gaps in between. You can find your own way with how you want to do this. You can do the whole row with pencil and then come back and add water. You can do the whole row with water and add pencil. You can work this out. You can make it as dark as you like. If you want it lighter, add less pencil and add more water. Play around with it. Make it as dark as you like, or if you want a softer pink, back off on that pencil. And it will dry a little bit lighter. Now I'm going to do a page using my watercolor paints. It's a lot different. I put the water in my palette first and then add the paint to the water. If you want a really pale pink, just use the colored water and put this on your page. I could have covered my whole page without adding any more of the red paint and it would have given me a nice soft pink. But it's not going to show up very well on camera. So I've added some more red to the water so it shows up a bit better. But if you wanted that soft pink, don't add any more red. But if you want a little bit more oomph, just put the light pink color down first, get the water on there, and then add just a little punch of red just in the corner and some more water and pull it around. Get it to work how you want. But see this row here? I'm just adding the pink water. And I love just that very light pink. It looks really good. I'm changing brushes. I think the square brush, if you wanted a more regular shape, the square brush works really well. And don't forget, you can use your acrylic paints. Just put the smallest amount in your tray and mix it up with water. Just put them aside and leave them to dry. Now this page here in my journal needs a little something. So I'm just going to fold it over the top of this plain pink page and look at how it lifted it. Look how easy this is. It's so simple. I've got 3 plain pages in this journal, but all together, stacked up on top of each other, they look really good. So you can see here without it, and now when you add it, what a difference it makes. So the 3 ways you can use it: just a fold over on top of a page, you can stencil right over the top of it, or you can just fold it in half and have it hanging out the side of a pocket. Easy page number 4. I love this one. It's just line drawings on coffee dyed paper. You really can't get any easier than this, but they look so effective in your junk journals. I've got a download of the Crinoline lady for you, and there's a couple of ways that you can print her out. Method 1, if you're using an inkjet, you'll have to coffee dye your paper first and then you print your lady. And this is because when the ink gets wet from an inkjet, it'll bleed. Method 2, if you've got a laser printer, print your lady on the white paper, and then if you've got a cookie tray, mine's got this pattern on the bottom, so I get this transfer of this pattern onto my paper. I don't even bother with towels or anything. I just put a teaspoon of coffee in my bowl and add a bit of hot water, not even a cup, and then I get a paintbrush and I put my paper directly into the tray and I'll paint a thin layer of the coffee on both sides of my paper. If you're using a laser printer, the ink will not bleed. And that's because a laser printer doesn't use ink, it uses toner and it's heat set onto the paper. It doesn't matter which way you put your paper in your pan, but I like putting the lady facing down. Then I'm gonna pop this in the oven, and when it dries, the pattern transfers through the paper and it always turns out darker on the top side than the bottom side. This method is perfect if you only want to do a couple of sheets at a time. You see the color transfer? It looks so good, and it just brightens it up so it doesn't look so plain. Now it's really easy to turn into a page. Because this one is printed in landscape, You just fold it in half and it's ready to go in your journal. When you look at your journal side on like this, you can see it's a little bit wavy. You can leave it, or I'll show you in a minute what you can do. And I've also included in the download this print in portrait position. So if you're making a tall skinny journal, you can print this out in the portrait position and fold it so it will go in a tall skinny journal. Now, to get rid of the waves, I've just used this lacy edge punch here, and it goes perfectly with the crinoline lady. This is a really simple way to get rid of those waves. If you don't mind the waves, you just leave them there. But I think this lace edge looks beautiful with this. I've folded these pages over, one a little bit shorter than the other side, and I like having shorter pages on one side because when you turn in pages, you get a peek at the next page. Easy page number 5. Last but not least, one of my favorites is using dot grids. I've used this page in this Daphne's diary journal. The dot grids are not in your face. They don't need to be. They look better in person. If you've got a laser, print your dot grid and then dye your paper. If you've got an inkjet, you'll have to dye your paper first and then put your coffee dyed paper through your printer. Download my dot grid and print it on both sides of the paper. Then fold your paper. This is an A4, so I'm not going to fold it in half. I'm going to fold it off the center and then have a flip. If you're making an A5 journal, fold it in half. The good thing about this, having a plain paper for journaling on, is that you can turn it any way you like. You can have the flip coming out from either side. Now I'm going to use a wide piece of washi tape and I'm just going to run it down the center of the fold. I'm going to go with this pink one. This is from the washi tape shop. It's a beautiful washi tape. It's on a piece of backing paper. When you peel the backing paper off, the tape itself is transparent. But what I like about it is, while it's on the backing paper, I can fold this in half. So I'm going to fold it in half long ways and put a crease down the center. Now this crease is going to match the crease in the fold line of my page. So I'm only going to peel a small bit of the backing off and I'm going to line these two crease marks up together. Put my washi on the page and then peel off the rest of the backing and then lay that crease line down towards the bottom fold line of my page. Because it's see-through, if you burnish this washi tape, it's going to show the background up a lot more. So whatever your paper is, it will show through the washi tape, especially if you burnish it. I'm going to cut the ends of the washi tape off because if you've ever tried to fold small amounts of washi over the edge of your page, it'll lift off. So I always just trim it off. Now, my page is finished. If you fold it this way, your washi tape is going to be showing on the inside. So when you put your pages over the top of this, you'll only see a little bit of washi on the left-hand side. If you turn it over and fold it this way, your washi is going to be sitting upright and facing you like this. So you can fold this in any way you like. So just keep folding it until you get it looking the way you want in your journal so that it sits nice next to the page that you're putting it beside. I'm going to flip it over here so that my fold line is facing the back of my journal and my cut line is facing the front. Yeah, that works a bit better for me here. Love it. Love it. Very happy with this page. Here we go. All 5 pages complete. This is page 1 with the hidden pocket and the flip out. This is page 5 with the dot grid and the washi. This is page 4 with the crinoline lady. This is page 3 with the paint markings. And this is page 2 with the doily print overlay. And the bonus leftover printed doily. I have to let you know, I'm on a quest to help you get your journal finished. Pop over and join my group, Finish That Junk Journal. If you want some more page ideas, check out this video here.
Turning heads when you walk by. If they